Bojack Horseman, the star of the situation comedy Horsin' Around, is our guest tonight. What have you been doing since the show's cancellation 18 years ago?
Is it just me, or am I nailing this interview?
Bojack Horseman 2014 is a critically acclaimed adult animated sitcom about a washed-up celebrity horse who had his minutes of fame many years ago. Often coined as the most depressing television show of all time, there is no shying away from the fact that it has the capability to put many people unknowingly into a spiral of emotions and self-doubt. The show depicts existential angst and mental illness in a way that's direct, honest, raw, and genuine. Without fail, the show harrowingly explores themes that are often seen as taboo in today's society. It is well written with a witty sense of humor, but never shying away from the harsh reality of the subject matter it portrays. The gritty look into washed-up film star Bojack Horseman's life certainly starts slow. We are introduced to the setting, a world of anthropomorphic animals and humans living in Hollywood. By the first few episodes, we begin to understand that Bojack is a major celebrity, the star of 90s sitcom Horsin' Around. In his heyday, no pun intended, he was a major celebrity, getting acting gigs left, right, and center. As time wore on, however, Horsin' Around came to an end, and his purpose in life, to entertain, diminished. Slowly over the years, he became a lazy drunk in his late 40s who essentially has more money than he knows what to do with, and spends his day on his couch drinking his life away. Throughout the series, we see that the seemingly bright and bubbly show we thought we knew turned into something cruel, nihilistic, and above all, real. We see Bojack continually screw up. He hurts his friends, he backstabs relationships, and he just can't stop messing things up. His issues are left untreated, which ultimately lose him friends, jobs, and relationships. We gain an insight into Bojack's dysfunctional relationships with his manager, his roommate, and his ghostwriter for his biography, which he promised he would release years ago. Throughout the series, we find that he's terrified of being alone. He's terrified of being abandoned. He's impulsive, he can't keep future goals in mind, and he completely jeopardizes and potentially loses friendships and relationships as a result of his bad actions. As we begin to dive deeper into the series, however, we start to see that Bojack isn't just a lazy alcoholic making bad decisions. He suffers from childhood trauma, mainly brought on through his parents constantly fighting, as well as alcoholism, including physical and mental abuse towards Bojack throughout his childhood. He used fame as a way to gain self-worth, the self-worth that he doesn't have because he was constantly being told that he was fundamentally worthless throughout his childhood. His parents were both alcoholics, so the only coping skills he ever learned were to get drunk and forget whatever was bothering him that day. He seems emotionally unstable overall and tends to oscillate between rage, obsession, and depression, much like his parents. The show addresses the idea of one's mental health being affected through intergenerational issues, with trauma being something that is passed down from parents to the child. Bojack's parents were just about as uncaring and unloving as they could be. His mother would regularly tell him how much he ruined her, which stemmed from her own troubles with her parents as a child. Bojack's grandmother had a lobotomy to fix her spiraling mental health issues after the death of her brother Crackerjack.
Is Mother okay?
She is now. She just let her womanly emotions get the better of her, that's all. Nothing a little operation couldn't fix.
Operation?
What's broken in the heart can never be repaired, but the brain, well, we have all sorts of science for the brain. She's a brand new woman now, and she'd like to meet you very much.
Mother?
Oh, hello.
It's Beatrice.
Yes, that's right. What a pretty girl.
What did they do to you?
Oh, hush. It's okay. I'm better now.
I don't understand.
Love does things to a person. Terrible things. Beatrice, promise me you'll never love anyone as much as I loved Crackerjack.
I promise I won't.
Why, I have half a mind.
This disturbing and grim scene showed that this operation left her unable to be emotionally close to Bojack's mother as a child, which essentially resulted in generations of trauma for the family.
I just wanted to tell you, I know you want to be happy, but you won't be, and I'm sorry.
What?
It's not just you, you know. Your father and I, You come by it honestly, the ugliness inside of you. You were born broken. That's your birthright. And now you can fill your life with projects, your books and your movies and your little girlfriends, but it won't make you whole. You're Bojack Horseman. There's no cure for that.
Depression, addiction, human condition, sexuality, trauma, and self-destructive behavior are just a handful of issues addressed in Bojack Horseman, and so it'll appeal to a wide audience of people who feel as though they're not alone in watching, with the makers' and directors' emphasis on reducing the stigma surrounding mental illness, as well as Bojack Horseman's positive critical reception, promotes positive public opinion towards individuals with mental illnesses, and with that, the stigma of mental illness is lessened and the conversation is able to be continued.
Now, sometimes I feel like I was born with a leak, and any goodness I started with just slowly spilled out of me, and now it's all gone, and I'll never get it back in me. In the great grand scheme of things, we're just tiny specks that will one day be forgotten. So it doesn't matter what we did in the past or how we'll be remembered. The only thing that matters is right now, this moment, this one spectacular moment we are sharing together.